You know, water. I had a deal for water to come down from the north. They have so much water.
Failed former President Donald Trump had a complete softball interview go completely wrong. He was interviewed by right-wing host Hugh Hewitt. These interviews have essentially no pushback and are often just teeing up easy ones for Trump to knock out of the park. And he still manages to just crumble under the pressure of, I don't even know what, I guess 88 criminal counts across 4 trials and running a campaign that may not work out so well for him. You have to see this. Trump went on a confused rant about water. And as you know, Trump has long been extremely fixated on plumbing and water pressure and toilet flushing abilities and all these different things. And Trump, very confused about water in the context of debating Biden. Somehow he says, water to Hugh Hewitt. And Hewitt looks almost as confused as Trump sounds. Listen to this.
You know, water. I had a deal for water to come down from the north. They have so much water, and they don't do it because they're trying to protect a tiny, tiny little fish that hasn't made it. And millions of gallons of water are sent into the Pacific Ocean, routed right into the Pacific instead of coming down throughout California. It's so.
All right, I've got your statement. I'm ready to go. The dates that are proposed are fine. Anywhere.
There you go. So Hugh Hewitt saying, I don't know anything about the little fish. I don't know anything about water. But let's get back to what the dates of this debate are going to be. Hewitt desperate to help Donald Trump seem like he knows what's going on, and just futile, absolutely futile. Trump once again during this interview attacking Jewish Americans, saying they are in a rut and they can't get out of the rut.
Statement, and how a person that's Jewish can vote for this guy who's obviously mentally impaired.
Right.
How a Jewish person can vote for him is beyond belief. I have friends that are Democrats.
Right. Christians and Muslims are fine voting for a guy who's mentally impaired. But how are the Jews voting for a guy who's mentally impaired?
You know, they're good people. They're Jewish and they're Democrats. And that's just fine being a Democrat. But I say, how do you vote for this guy? And many of them say we won't. But some say we will. It's almost like they're in a rut. They can't get out of the rut.
Yeah,
Statement.
we just don't know. I'm saying we, like I, as part of the contingent of Jewish Americans that overwhelmingly rejects the horrible ideas of people like Trump. We don't know what to do. We're in a rut, and it's just so hard to figure out rather than the reality, right? Which is, hey, we evaluate Trump and Biden, and like Biden's obviously the much better option, so that's who we're going to vote for. And overwhelmingly, Jewish Americans are one of the most left voting blocs that we have, along with black folks. It's more of the same stuff. Trump wildly claims that his platform, Truth Social, is the hottest thing right now. I don't know how that's possible.
Truth Social.
It has almost no users, and the stock is just collapsing. And this is so funny. Trump asks Hugh Hewitt to read his statement on the debate, and Hugh Hewitt doesn't have it, and he starts scrambling to try to find the message, and it's all delightfully awkward.
Why don't you look at the statement? I just put out a statement. You should have it on your hot wires. You get everything.
Yeah, his hot wires should have it.
I notice you get things very quickly. I put it out on Truth, and Truth is the hottest thing right now.
I will go look that up. Let me move on.
Take a look.
If President Biden,
do you want to read it? Do you want to read it?
Yes, I do. If I'll look and see if Jason.
Hugh Hewitt already said I'm going to move on, but now Trump is insisting he find his troth.
Send it to me on the back wire here.
I see. Okay.
I'll look for a second.
Yeah. So then a bunch of the interview is consumed with Hugh Hewitt looking for Trump's Truth Social post. A really weird moment was where Trump brought up LeBron James and says he doesn't like LeBron James. He doesn't like his politics. And then he makes what some people are calling a sexual reference between LeBron and Hillary Clinton, saying that when LeBron James, the basketball player, stood next to Hillary Clinton, Hillary came up to his belt buckle. And Hugh Hewitt sort of seems to like it. He smirks at that one.
Well, I'm not a fan of LeBron James. I have a lot of players that I like better than LeBron, although he's an excellent basketball player, but I don't like his politics one bit. This nation would be destroyed if you went by his politics. Do you remember he endorsed the great Hillary Clinton, and that endorsement was a disaster? She got on stage, he walked up to him, and she came up to his belt buckle. I said, that's not a good look.
Right.
That is not a good look for
So Trump didn't like Hillary Clinton's height, I guess, relative to LeBron James. And then lastly, this Hugh Hewitt show is really a venue it's a vector of disinformation. Trump now is going from claiming that there were 100,000 people at his New Jersey rally to claiming that there were 107,000 people at the New Jersey rally. By all accounts, there were 10 to 15,000 people there.
At the Saturday rally, your 100,000 people rally, you used the term the great silent majority of Americans, which Nixon first used in '69. Did you know that he had used that term before, or was that
very well? And I love the term because I have a big silent majority, the biggest. I think the biggest ever. We had 107,000 people at that rally. The final count just came out from, I think, the town or the fire department. 107,000 people. I expected 45,000. We had, by the way, if Biden went down to do a rally, he wouldn't get 50 people.
Yeah. So there were not 107,000 people. There were not 100,000 people. It's been 8 years now of Trump lying about the size of his crowd. The venue reportedly has a capacity of 20,000, and it wasn't totally full. The entire kind of beach area, boardwalk area, apparently can have 35,000 people total, and it was nowhere near full. So now it's gone from 100 to 107,000. It's all a lie, but even a softball interview has gone horribly wrong. And now we're going to introduce the RFK factor to this entire debate story.